Hi, Vinit. Vinit, you can hear me? Nina, you can hear me or not? Can you hear me, Vinit?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. So how many attendees is
We are
there
in the
to?
main, this is the main webinar, Jeremy. Webinar has started basically here. So we couldn't join the backstage. Hi, Nina.
Hello, everyone.
We're waiting for Kaustav. Oh, okay, Kaustav is there. Kaustav. I'm curious, Jeremy, why don't you have the background when everybody else has it?
I don't know.
What changes have you made to Zoom?
No changes. It's strange. You're right. I don't know.
But
Maybe
fine. Hmm.
I can choose one. Yeah. I don't know.
It's fine.
Hi everyone.
Hi, Gustav.
Hi, Kaustav. So we are in the webinar. It's already started. We're waiting
Yes.
for attendees to join. As soon as they join, in about next 5 minutes, then we will begin.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. We will start in 2 minutes. Thank you. Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for joining the webinar. I'm Vineet. I'm taking care of entire CA vertical at Tech Labs. I welcome you all to the webinar today. Uh, with me, I have the pSeven team who has joined from Toulouse, France. So I have Jeremy with me who is taking care of the entire channel sales globally for pSeven. And I have Nina Moëllo. Nina Nina has done her engineering in aerospace, and then she has also worked with companies in North America and France. Um, and then I've been joined by my colleague Kaustav. Kaustav has done his engineering and masters in mechanical engineering, and he'll be also taking care of delivery of the webinar. So just to introduce a bit about us, so we are a solutioning company based out of India. We primarily work with the defense and the automotive sector, wherein we help these companies from automating their engineering practices all the way from design to manufacturing. As many of you must be doing complex engineering, so pSeven can help you automate a lot of your engineering workflows, which can enable you to speed up your R&D cycle, uh, unlock productivity and efficiency gains, as well as save cost, which otherwise would go into lengthy design, CAE, manufacturing, PLM cycles. So I will now hand over the initial introduction of the webinar to my colleague Jeremy, and then Kaustav will walk you through the demos. Okay, Jeremy, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Vineet. I hope that everyone can hear me well. So, hi everyone. Thanks for joining that webinar. I guess now you can see my screen. So yes, as Vineet explained, I'm Jeremy from pSeven, and I'm managing our channel worldwide. So I will just share some slide. So remember that it is a series of webinars. So we already delivered one 1 month ago, and then there will be additional one in the following months. So if you feel that pSeven Enterprise could be interesting for your organization and job, please, I remind you to connect to the following webinars. So just a quick introduction about pSeven company. So we are software editor, based also on AI-ready tools, based in France, as Vineet explained, and we are specialized in collaborative engineering, simulation, workflows automation, knowledge capture, and democratization. We are coming from Airbus, and we have strong expertise into, I would say, mostly engineering disciplines like CAE, CAD, PLM, and mathematics and data science. Regarding our customers, it's not the goal of that is not to deep dive into each customers, but first, we are totally agnostic. I mean that our technology, our platform called pSeven Enterprise, can adapt and can be used by any customers in any industries. That is true that we are mostly working with a large organization because, as I'm going to explain, and also as Kaustav, following my presentation, will demonstrate, we need that your methods in engineering are mature enough to be automated and shared with your engineering population. So that is why you see mostly large organization into that slide. So what are we providing to our customers? In fact, we are providing a platform in order to unlock the bottleneck of experts in your engineering cycle. I mean that Kaustav will highlight that, but your simulation experts have a lot of challenge to deal with. It can be manual data transfer, it can be fragmented processes, it can be simulation times, doesn't matter, they have a lot. And the number of simulation is increasing a lot from our customers, because it is now mandatory to develop and to certify a product. So yes, your organization and our customer were limited by their, I would say, overall organization and expert capacity, like it is highlighted by that recent studies from NAFEMS and McKinsey. And that it's just a pity for your organization and your productivity, because it's delayed iteration in your development cycles. You have no time to do design space exploration, so optimization, for example. And more or less for your organization, it's also a risk, because if someone leave the company, the knowledge leave with that guy. So what we provide to our customer is an engineering platform to solve that challenges and bring quite important productivity gains. And that has been proven by different customers. So the first one is, for example, Technip FMC. So we have a lot of references, but I will just highlight 3 of them. So the first one is Technip FMC, who just decrease their simulation campaign by a factor of 3. So it's quite huge. They spend weeks to run their simulation campaigns, and now it is just hours or even days. They just have done, using pSeven Enterprise, they have automated all of their simulation workflows, and now these simulation workflows are available for everyone. Another one is Halliburton, which is a US company. And this one has just fully customized the platform to their needs. So it's important to mention that pSeven Enterprise is a totally open platform with, open API, fully customizable. So you can go very deep in the customization of the platform to fully fit to your requirements and needs. And the last one is in aerospace. So it's Liebherr in France, who also decreased their, I would say, product development cycle by a factor of 3 by, sharing the expertise at scale. So using that democratization aspect of pSeven Enterprise that Kaustav will highlight. Final slide, just for you to be informed that if you want to try and if you want to evaluate what could be the value of pSeven Enterprise for your organization, we are totally open. I will not detail in very deeply, but we can provide the solution with Techlabs during 2 months, and then we can work with you to show the value and demonstrate the value. So that's the end of my very short introduction. So Kaustav, if you are ready, I will stop to share on my side, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. So from here, I'll be explaining that what pSeven in this current engineering market mitigates the problem usually that exists in this simulation today. So modern engineering bottlenecks in engineering and organizations are broadly classified into 4, as you can see in my presentation. First is the fragmented approach, that in engineering organizations, there are multiple departments that are involved in multiple disciplinary physics like CFD, then pre-processing, post-processing, etc. So in those applications, they use different applications from different OEMs. So that creates a very fragmented processes where they have to link the input data of some preprocessor to the post-processor of another software from different OEM. So that becomes a very tedious task. So what does pSeven do to unify this fragmented process? That instead of creating this fragmented process, pSeven unites and or creates some links between the different softwares that are in form of blocks in the workflow, and that instantly creates a very unified and synchronized visual pipeline, which where all the departments, irrespective of their physics, they can understand that what is happening in the workflow in front of us. Second is the irreproducibility of results, which is due to the engineering experts or the simulation experts. When they have gathered a lot of experience, they sometimes may include their side of habit or some customized inputs. And when other juniors of them try to replicate that process, so that becomes an irreproducibility problem. So what does pSeven does is just standardize those processes by recording every script using scripts, especially using Python or any other programming language. So every operation that you perform, it is recorded in that workflow. Third is, since we have to transfer data from one software to another software, the input file of the first software may be a huge task to transfer it to the second software. So what does that cost? That causes a huge time wastage, almost 30 to 50%, because of the size.
Oh, I think something happened on Kaustav's side.
Am I audible?
Kaustav, are you here? Okay, I think there is an issue.
Yeah, seems like an issue with his conference room. So he might need about a minute to join back here. Yeah, he's there. Kaustav, are you there?
Is my screen visible?
Nina, why don't you take over in the meantime as he joins?
Okay. Let me just prepare. Kaustav, do you hear us?
Yeah.
Is your connection stable?
Yeah, I did. Yes, so shall I continue?
Yes, if you are ready.
Yeah. You just confirm whether my screen is visible or not.
It is visible, yes.
Yeah. Thanks for confirming. So where was I? I was in the manual data transfer. So a lot of data while transferring, enough time is wasted. So simulation engineers, they try to reduce that, and pSeven helps surely in reducing that time wastage due to the manual transfer from one software input to the another software. And shortage of experts, since expert expertise is required in creating this kind of automation and unified interface system. We face this type of shortage of experts. So we don't need to rely on experts completely when we are using pSeven Enterprise. So in there, pSeven gives us a platform where we can simulate and automate using different blocks of softwares like CAD software or PLM software, from which we can retrieve and use it in our workflow seamlessly. So the main agenda of this meeting is to showcase the property of scaling and how does pSeven value the organization. So we build workflow which consists of different OEM softwares like CAD, CAE tools, etc. We can also implement Python coding here as well, and we link in between them so that data exchange is possible. And after gathering and evaluating the results for this particular workflow, we can scale it to a web designer, which is presented by pSeven Enterprise. It's a web application that we can prepare after simplification of the workflow, which looks like this, into a very simple interface where we can simply give our parameters and obtain very intuitive results as well. And that we can share it among our organization and its constituent departments. They can gain value and we can share knowledge.
Kaustav, sorry to interrupt you, but on my side, I don't know if it is the same for everyone, but I'm still on engineering. Okay, it's now switching, so okay. I think there is delays.
Nina, I recommend you take the slides for the next 10 minutes. By the time Kaustav's connection becomes more stable, and he can do the demo.
Yeah, sure. Okay, if I think I can continue because the network has restored properly.
Okay, done.
So pSeven Enterprise rests on these three pillars, which are highlighted in blue. That is process integration and automation, design space exploration and optimization, as well as the predictive modeling and machine learning. Yes, normal CE applications are supported well enough, but on top of that, you can perform optimizations and design space explorations as well to further optimize and get better results, as well as you can use the predictive modeling and machine learning. If you have already iterated 20 results out of your CA model, then you can use those as a training data and perform a machine learning and predictive modeling. So these three pillars gives rise to this usability, that is scalability and knowledge capturing, which is our main agenda of this meeting. So our solution, the pSeven Enterprise, it has 4 capabilities like collaboration. As I've said, that different departments, whether they are from different expertise or different domains, they can perform seamless collaboration between them. They can share workflows, they can share their results, they can deploy their web applications, which corresponds to their workflow, and there will be a seamless collaboration, a productive collaboration between the different departments. And that gives rise to increased productivity in the organization. Next is the seamless integration. pSeven has a wide range of PLMs, CAD, CE applications, as well as SPDM application tools that we can use to create a very unified interface that connects all the CE tools, CAD tools, PLM tools. And it can be deployed in the cloud, since pSeven is a cloud application. So that can be deployed entirely in the cloud so that other organizations from different parts of the world, not only from the organization, can access them. And the web application or the apps hub, which is a unique feature that is provided by pSeven Enterprise. It creates and deploy the apps across the engineering population, which is a very useful feature. And with those results, and we can build in-house optimization results and perform AI ML operations as well. It also has a very important tool called smart selection, which is used for automatically selecting the best algorithm for your training data. So as you can see, the in-house softwares that pSeven provides ranges from Excel to most advanced CAD CA operations softwares. From there, you can create the workflows and deploy them in the Apps Hub using as a web application. And it doesn't stop there. We can also integrate PLM and SPDM tools that creates an automation and democratization. So in low code practice, basically the coding has three stages. That is, the citizen users which do not have any idea about the no code or no, not at all idea about the coding, what is behind that. And the very top of that is the hardcore, which entirely relies on coding. But the main application for using pSeven is for CE applications and integration. So this is where the users mostly fall under, that is low code operation, where we can have very minimal code application for deployment, because all the applications are in form of blocks. We have to decide what will be the output from a corresponding block and which one to connect to. So the block library, as I said, it has a wide variety, ranging from Excel to ANSYS to
Kaustav,
the most.
I'm sorry, do you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
Yes.
I can't see your screen anymore. Is it the case on your side as well? Vinit, Jeremy?
Yes.
Yes, Nina, I recommend you take it over from wherever you have left it.
Yeah, let me share here. Where
is it okay now?
Kaustav, seems like your internet is a bit patchy, so Nina will take over for now. Okay. If required, she'll call you in.
Yeah, sure. Sorry for the inconvenience.
No issues. Apologies to all the attendees. Sorry for the inconvenience. It's the network error on his side, but we will try to make it up. Thank you.
Okay, is my screen visible now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So yes, I'm just taking over here. So for this webinar, we wanted to show the low-code fashion of pSeven Enterprise and how flexible we are regarding integration of external tools. So this is exactly the topic of this next slide here, showing that pSeven Enterprise acts as an orchestrator of any kind of simulation tools, from the CAD systems to meshing, and then CAE up to post-processing, and also is able to communicate with any external platforms like PLM or SPDM systems. We can also connect to other external databases, in the case of digital twins, for example, but this is not the main focus for today. So the idea is to work on a single environment, pSeven Enterprise, to build your own processes as tool chains, and then to automate and orchestrate those workflows here. Okay. So this is where we bring automation and democratization. Kaustav was, I think, on this topic. So what is low code in practice? We observed that in companies, we, of course, have many different profiles, and we somehow categorized them in three users profiles here. So you have on the right side the citizen users, who are those guys solving engineering problems, so attached to different projects, but they need to have, let's say, quick access and quick results based on accurate simulation models, of course, but they are not developers, and they are not, domain experts, for example. So this is now the transition with those guys in the middle, who can also solve some problems, but they are also skilled on some programming activities. So they can like prepare some simulation activities, prepare some connections with different tools and different machines, for example. And the idea of those guys is to, let's say, prepare the ground for the citizen users to be more efficient. And how the domain experts can access an also nice environment to work on, this is thanks to the advanced users. And those guys are professional developers who can develop some reusable components like scripts or sometimes even interfaces. And their challenge is mostly on how to share those best practices and how to maintain all of that. So this is exactly the topic of this block library that we can propose. Basically, we know that every team and every company has different tools to play with. So we do not intend to say that, yeah, we have natively integrated every software in the world, because most of you may have a lot of internal scripts, for example. But the idea is to give access to all of those scripts and best practices. So from your preferred list of tools, you have the ability in pSeven Enterprise, to create in a very efficient way some what we call blocks. So blocks are those components that you can then reuse in a workflow, that can encapsulate your own scripts and can propose also a nice graphical interface to play with it for then the community of citizen users to be more efficient. Once a block like that is created, it is accessible from the public library. So when we say public, by the way, it's every time internal to your company. So the public is just your own company, right? When you share something, it remains in your server, whether it's a workflow, it's an application, a setting. The deployment is made on each company's level. Okay, so everything is fully secured. So with those blocks creation, we enable standardization and extension of your work. I would like now to play this little video as demonstration of different types of blocks that we can have. So here you can see the platform of pSeven, and now in the middle, okay, let me just get a bit slower here. So in the middle, you see a workflow that has been created with different blocks and links. And those blocks are coming from the library here. Okay, so you see different types of blocks, different integrations. Okay, and so from there, edit post. Okay, sorry for that. So you have the choice of different blocks, and then every workflow, of course, is open for any revision. So here you have one block of type text, which is able to do text parsing. So basically you can ask pSeven for an automatic text change or command change. So here, for example, if we want to change this exit macro strings, we can define it as, okay, this exit macro will be then a parameter, let's say, and then I can give to this position of the file some new strings. Okay, so I'm just changing the type here and providing new string. Okay, so first it was exit macro and now it can be exit file. So this is the goal of text block. Then we show the Adams car block, which is a bit different. Everything is set up from the ports here. So the graphical interface of the block itself is just a description, like documentation. So I don't want to show the details of every block, but just for you to understand that we have many different types. Okay, and depending on your best practices and your internal activities, you can customize it. Of course, by default, we provide some templates and a lot of support on that. But now if I show you a different block for Python scripting, which is quite common in engineering activities, here you will see that you can directly enter your Python script. Okay, so it's again another type of block. So every block is tailored to its specific need. Okay, and the final one, I think I'm showing ANSYS Workbench. Okay, so this one allows you to specify with which simulation project you want to work on top. And then pSeven will discover all the inputs and output parameters of that project. So the engineer can just select the required parameters to play with. You have also a lot of options just in case. And then those connection ports are used to make links with other blocks. Okay. So those are the different types of blocks that we can propose. And here, this little video was about how to create your custom block. So I will not deep dive into the technical concerns for today, but the idea is just to show that, okay, this video lasts for 4 minutes. So basically in 4 minutes, you can already create your own block with your own very light interface. And this is due to the development kit template that we can propose. Okay, so you have 4 templates for creating your own integrators. Of course, we are also providing some very generic blocks for which we can play some comments. So for example, ANSYS Workbench can be executed with command lines. So you don't need necessarily to create a specific block for your CAE software to be executed. Okay, so just remember about the flexibility of the platform here. When blocks are created, or if you need some new components, you can find them in the pSeven Enterprise Marketplace. So this is the only section which is open to everyone, let's say, so outside of your company. This is a website from where you can download your blocks. So you see we have blocks for CAE, like Forge and ANSYS Workbench and AMSIM. But you also have some agentic blocks, QGate. So this one is for mathematical and sensitivity analysis post-processing. And ARAS is an SPDM and PLM connector. So you can download your blocks from there. You can also publish blocks if you want to participate and help the community, but this is not mandatory, of course. Then we are switching to another topic, which is the collaboration part. So where collaborative workflows and simulation web apps happen. we tend to say that this topic for us is a big differentiator with competitors or previous tools that were deployed, because pSeven Enterprise is the only fully collaborative platform nowadays. Okay, it allows anyone to reach the platform from any browser, and from there to have only one single environment for both workflows and web apps. So the workflows creators are working from there, the workflow users, same, and same for the applications creators and users. This is a bit different in competition, for example, where we often see that the experts are creating their workflows locally on their own computers and then pushing this as web apps on the server. But then your web app is somehow disconnected from the initial workflow, and you don't have the full digital continuity for everything. So at some point, if you're looking for an auditable process, fully traceable, you may lack some traceability and robustness here. And of course, this is very different to, let's say, historic processes with in-house Git, for example, where you have one expert creating a workflow, publishing on an internal repository, and then everyone is open to download the, of course, most up-to-date version or even previous version of a workflow. So you cannot control which workflow is this final user using in the end. So this right section is not collaborative at all. You're just sharing files, and this is very risky nowadays. This is, so pSeven Enterprise is fully collaborative, mostly because of its web native architecture. Okay, so everything is done on the web, and by web, we mean server actually. So you can totally cut it from internet if you want. And this allows both the end users and your IT personnel to be more comfortable because you only have one environment to maintain. So the end users only have one location for work. Okay, it's like also fire and forget when you want to execute something, because everything is executed on the server side, to which the IT personnel has direct access. Okay, so in terms of organization of your company resources, this is then much more easier. By the way, the platform also comes with access rights to be organized. So here is just a little demonstration of how this works. So you see this is my personal workspace. And if I switch to the admin side now, because I have admin access, I can see the list of users and I can see myself here, right? So I have studio access, app sub access, I mean, okay, different part of the platform, but a specific one that we can check is about what am I allowed to do here. So, okay, any admin can control all of that. So you have a very, what I mean is very thin control of the accesses of your users. So you can define some team leaders, for example, or people that can just use the workflows that were created, and so on. And we have this notion of workspaces. So here only one is created and it's named examples. And workspaces are like work groups, if you want. So you can add different profiles in these groups, and also in the groups tell who is able to run some workflows, to publish new workflows, and so on. You see that now I don't have the rights to publish the apps. So if I want to use my workflow and publish it as an app, I can only do it for my personal workspace. Okay, so I cannot share this app with the entire community of my company. But if I am switching the right, now I will be able to share my workflow with the other users in the examples workgroup. Okay, so the goal of this video is just to explain that every user can be managed by different access rights, and this is a very thin level of managing the access rights. When your company is organized like that, you are then able to, again, manage how the knowledge is shared. And one of the main principles with pSeven Enterprise is also to facilitate the capture of multidisciplinary workflows. So what you have here on the screen is different users, here in blue, orange, purple, cyan, and everyone has worked on their own, let's say, unitary workflow. Okay, so they can be more or less complex, but those guys are responsible for one part of a bigger chain. And when they feel that their unitary workflow is ready and robust enough, they can share it to be aggregated into bigger chains. And this is what you see on the right, on the diagonal workflow. So in the end, just by having some small components, you can reuse them in bigger workflows without the need to redeploy everything. Okay, and this bigger workflow is then maintained by, how to say, splitted responsibilities. So everyone is managing their own workflow. Okay. I will not extend to this topic today because this will be the topic of a future webinar. So please join this webinar if multidisciplinary workflows are of interest. Now we have seen that those accesses can be tailored for every user. So every user is able to execute their own workflows in their own personal workspaces. Okay. You can also share from one personal workspace to another personal workspace some workflows directly. Okay. And then you can also share the apps in different workspaces like that. So what you need to understand here is that every user has a personal environment, let's say, and then you can also find some shared groups. Okay, and everything can be then connected with, again, multidisciplinary workflows. So you have this notion of flexible access rights. So here I'm almost to the end of my presentation, but I wanted to show with you how you can share some files with colleagues. So here you have the list of different workspaces. Okay, here the list is a bit more than before. And you are also able to click, so select some parts, so some workflows and some projects that were created, and to decide to share them. Okay, so you see here many different workflows. Okay, and from my own workspace, you see those icons of groups. So at the moment, I have shared this car suspension design workflow with two of my colleagues, Victor and Michael. Okay, so this is a direct sharing with someone specific. Okay, this is not a group sharing. And with those guys, because I am the creator of this workflow, I can decide with which level of rights they can access it, whether it's read-only access or read and write. Okay, so I just need to tell my colleague ID here, select the access level, and then add this guy to the list. Okay, so this is direct sharing. Then when something is shared with you, you will find it at the bottom of your list, like I have it here. Okay, so I can open some workflows and check. Okay, so for example, this workflow, I see the owner is Jorg, my colleague from Tecosim. So he shared this workflow with me. Okay, by creating a new workflow, I can then decide to have it multidisciplinary. And then from this one, you will see that I can import dynamic links of other workflows. So basically here I will create a workflow just by aggregating other ones. Okay, so I need to select it from my list. Okay, so now you see just a block, but this block is actually a sub-workflow reference. And I can also decide to use the workflow that was shared with me by Jorg. So it's named cantilever beam. Okay. And then, because I know those two workflows, I can also decide in the end to make some connections between them. So this is the workflow of Jorg that he shared with me. Exactly this one. Okay. So from there, okay, I decided to add another one coming from another work group, for example. Okay, so you see that the aggregation of different workflows is very flexible in this case. Okay, this is another workflow. And so now I can create some links between them. Okay, so this is a fake connection here, but just to show you that one output of the initial workflow can be connected with the input of the next one. So then when I will execute my multidisciplinary workflow, it will automatically take care of this parameter exchange between my two root workflows. Okay, so you see how aggregating things is easy now. Now, again, the democratization part will be detailed in a future webinar, but let me just introduce it. Once a workflow is created here by a simulation or domain expert, the workflow contains global inputs and global outputs. And just by knowing this structure, pSeven is able to provide you with a very simplified interface like this one. So like just the column of the parameters and then the column of the results. For anyone in your company, of course, we have seen it with defined access rights, will be able to access it as citizen user and to execute the workflow in the back. So then you don't need anymore to have any expert involvement. Your users are becoming more autonomous. You don't need any domain experts to be involved as well. So your domain experts can be dedicated only for workflow creation, for example. The process is always the same, so it can be reproduced and executed at scale. And every result is traced and saved inside the platform. So you have one unified environment for your simulation work. And finally, of course, you can decide to also develop your own graphical interface. So this requires some more extended capabilities, but this is very basic nowadays to have very light interfaces. And spoiler, your preferred AI agent can also help you in doing that. So you can basically develop a graphical interface for preparing the app, so preparing the execution, but also for having a more, precise results and decision-making application with graphs, with diagrams, pictures, and so on. So to this way, you can bring advanced methods to citizen users in a very efficient manner. So this leads us to my conclusion here. With this pSeven Enterprise implementation and this notion of capturing the knowledge and then sharing this knowledge within your company will bring, of course, a lot of productivity gains. But I will let maybe Jeremy or Vinit explain this in more details later. It will also bring a lot of democratization aspects. with accessibility of your best simulation practices to citizen users. And of course, we intend to propose better designs thanks to our optimization tools, for example, that are embedded by default with the platform. So this is my end of presentation. If you have any question, or I don't know, Vinit, if you want to have a last word.
Yeah. So thanks for the nice presentation, Nina. So to the attendees, if you have any questions, you can please type them in the chat box, or we will take them. You can just type that in the chat box and we will take them, and then we will try to answer your query now in the webinar. And I also want to add that if you want to, take a demo of pSeven, or you want to try it out, so we can set it up for you. You just need to, you can email me, or you can contact me, or you can, write to us, and we will help you with that. So if you have any questions, then please let us know. Otherwise, we will end the webinar in about 2 minutes. You can type your question in the chat box. Okay, I have a question. How it is useful for CA people in analysis, by Mr. Vinay.
So for CA people, the need is then, the objective is to propose the best or at least the most used process that they have. So usually, CA guys are, for example, extracting some CAD models from the design department, and then they need to use it for meshing, and after meshing for well, maybe 1 or 2 CA tools to be chained, and after that to extract some other information from the CA results. Most of the time, of course, the CA simulation itself, it's also dependent on, I don't know, some material properties coming from another file, and also I don't know, some other physical properties that are coming from external data. So gathering all of that into one single automated process will help them saving a lot of time when the process is repeated frequently. So what we tend to do is to make a first audit with the customers about what is the repeated process that we can automate first. So we know, of course, that most of the time it can be difficult to understand what can be automated because, for example, we often have the question of how do I automatically mesh my parts? Okay, we know that this is a challenge, but we have internally the knowledge to help you facing this. And so to build this workflow that could bring a lot of value and that could save time for your CA teams, not repeating the same steps over and over, but just executing one automated tool chain like that.
Thank you, Nina.
Sure.
I have one more question, if we can take it. So can I link the Linux machine to Windows machine in your workflow, since the CA tools are on the Linux machine and CAD tools are on the Windows machine?
Yes, absolutely. So the architecture of pSeven Enterprise is very flexible. The server itself is working on the Linux machine. And then from the server, we can declare what we call additional extension nodes, which could be Windows machines, for example. So your own Windows machines where you usually execute Abacus, for example, or ANSYS Workbench, any of your CA tools. And you can also attach your Linux machines with the same process or with a SSH connection, for example. So in the end, the idea of pSeven Enterprise is also to bring this secured environment. So one single environment from which pSeven can also manage the resources, meaning that in the end, your engineers don't have to mind about, okay, is my HPC cluster available right now? Is my Windows machine overloaded? All of that information, because it's linked to the pSeven server, will be managed by pSeven itself with a queuing system and resource management allocation.
Okay, I don't have any further questions. Thank you all for participating in today's webinar. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you want to try it out or if you want to see a demo, do write to us and we will make it happen for you. Thanks again. See you in the next webinar. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.